Good morning, guys. We stopped over here at Fine Arc. We've been here several times. These guys are super awesome. We're actually grabbing some oil from them so we can make our way to California without having to buy any more diesel. The biggest challenge for today, like I keep saying, is we got to get my car figured out. I'm almost positive it's fuel related. I found a couple injector shops around here, but it was kind of hard to get it dealt with today. Everybody wants us to leave them with them. We don't have time. We got to hit the road. So that being the case, I started reaching out looking for injectors, and the neighbors here, Harrison Performance, which is on the other side of Fine Arc, really cool guys. They got some cool cars, and we've known about them because we've been here several times, and they're very helpful. They have a lot of parts. It's just a speed shop. And I went over there asking about injector cleaning. They don't do that service. They recommended someone but said they probably couldn't do it today. So then I asked them about injectors. They had a couple of used flow tested matched sets of injectors, and we ended up picking up some 2000 cc injectors from them that are matched and flow balanced and all that stuff. And so that's awesome. That bails us out. It's got the same connector, the same style, everything. It should just plug right into my car. So I didn't really want to buy new injectors, but if it gets out of a jam and I don't miss another track day, it's definitely worth the money spent. So if you guys are in the Tucson area, Harrison Performance, those guys are awesome. They also do like details and PPF and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go, after we're done pumping oil, we're gonna go over to the track, pick up the trailer, and then we'll probably do injectors tonight in California. But today's gonna be boring, just a long drive, not a lot to do. We'll see what we find on the road. We're in Phoenix on the freeway, I-10 traffic. It's like 4 o'clock, 4:15. Just typical metropolitan area traffic. We'd hit the same thing if we were driving through Salt Lake at 4 or 5 o'clock. It's crazy because when you're in a big truck like this, like, traffic is the worst because you speed up a little bit and you got to slam on the brakes, and then speed up and slam on the brakes, which isn't good for the brakes. It's not good for the truck. It's not good for the transmission. It's not good for this gooseneck hitch behind me. It's good for nothing. It's like, it really sucks. But we're just chilling, just jamming. We haven't charged the AC after we did the engine swap. We just haven't had time to do it. I didn't think it was going to be warm enough to need it, but it's actually warm enough down here to want it, not necessarily need it. But from Phoenix, I don't know, we've got another like 4 or 5 hour ride. So we're just chilling. How about a montage? How about like a travel montage? Let's do that right now. Whenever we stop to check straps and check the trailer and stuff, one thing I always like to do is check the trailer bearing hubs to see if anyone's hotter than the rest. That kind of gives you a good indicator. Same with tires. Gives you a good indicator if you have a bearing that is in need of attention. So we got Aaron's car, we got Naoki's car, and we got my car. This is the damage on Naoki's car. It's pretty rough. There was an incident. All right, well, that doesn't open anymore. There was an incident on track. It blew out the back glass and it caved this in pretty good, which is a common spot for S13s to get crushed. Definitely repairable. It just kind of sucks.
Not easy.
Right. I think Mark was pretty excited to not have this car get destroyed, but I think we all kind of knew what was going to happen when Naoki got in a car. Yep, these are about falling off. Forgot to check those before we left. Oh, we lost a nut on that one for sure. This one still has a nut on it. Oh yeah, trailer bearings. Yep, all pretty good. We decided before it gets dark, we're gonna try and service the fuel filters on this car since it's up and they're right there, and I don't really want to do it tomorrow, and maybe we'll actually change the injectors right now, clean the fuel system, I don't know. But I'd rather do it while it's light and you know, we're all awake. By the time we get to California, we'll probably be tired and just wanting to go to sleep in the Airbnb. So figured, why not do it right now? Let's go. So I got one filter off so far. I was trying really hard not to get gas down my arms, but that didn't work. At least it's the 85, it doesn't smell so bad. But I want to open this thing up and see what we got inside of it. I gotta remember that it flows this way. That's a good arrow right there. I can fix that. Huh? Look at that.
Is that a house? Is that a windmill?
Hey, I'm getting there. I'm an artist.
Wow, you went straight up walk. Okay.
Alright, we need to separate the housing. Oh good, it doesn't go big enough. What else we got? Kelly's up there pulling injectors out. I'm down here ruining this filter housing.
Why is he pulling the injectors out?
Because we're doing the whole fuel system, man.
That needs to be done last.
Doesn't matter. There's no order. Alright.
I just feel like this should be like... Never mind.
Ooh, there's a spring in there. Spring. Ooh, there's some junk. What is that junk? There's some debris. I need a rag. I'm not trying to do this in the dirt. Well, I want to come out. Need some persuasion.
What kind of persuasion?
That kind. Dude, there's junk all over inside of there. You see all that?
Yeah.
That is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we know what we're dealing with here. Yeah, we got residue, Kelly. Just residue. I'm not gonna try and pretend I know what it is, but it's residue and it's everywhere. It's not like dirt. It's just like residue.
You know what this sound is? This is the sound of a good dance.
Anyways, I think we know what the problem is. We should clean the whole fuel system like we talked about. I don't think it came from the tank. I don't think it's just like, it's probably dried up E85 like we were saying. Yeah, it's in the filter elements. Actually, this is not near enough filter for this car. I need the paper elements. I just have these screens and this is the last filter in line. So I don't think this was filtering enough. And I think whatever this junk is was probably past the lines already also. So we'll get some carb spray and clean these all out. Clean all the filter housings out. Clean the lines out, clean everything out. Maybe clean those injectors out again and try using my existing injectors, but I don't want to put the new ones in and then have them get clogged up right away. So we'll try these again and then save those other injectors until maybe tomorrow when we get to the track. If we're still having problems, then we'll put those in. But this needs a thorough cleaning. We're gonna be here for a minute.
So have you ever done a job underneath the triple wedge?
Yeah, one time me and Seth pulled it up here and we were like, basically those tires weren't there. We were sitting back there changing a diff on my other car. You could back it up. You could do a trans here. This is kind of in the way, but really, like, if we were doing this dog box, it would be really easy. Pull it up to the top. Like, I think it was about a week after I bought this, I was under here, I was like, yo, this is like a mobile lift right here. Like, you can do an oil pan swap, you can do anything like that. It's like having our 4-post lift at the shop. It's really nice. Where's the, oh, he just took off the thing. Leaking gas back down from the rail.
I'll check in on him.
Stop leaking.
Why are you leaking, bro?
Shut up. Shut up, idiot. Get out of here.
Are you talking to me or
Idiot.
him?
I don't know, can you hear me? Ah! My shoes! With your freaking fuel fingers!
Your
Get out of here!
Ow!
Ow. Oh man, karma.
How's it feel?
The instant karma videos on YouTube.
Yeah. That was a good one. You really yanked back on that.
A little bit. Stop!
What?
Nah, whatever, just keep going. It's just leaking down here.
And also, just for reference, we're at a truck stop. In the way, of course. Look at that golden hour. Sight for sore eyes. I came all the way over here to see what you were doing, and I can't even see.
Yeah. Get off of there. It's a lot nicer when there's not tires on here. But this is also nicer than doing it on the ground.
It's funny because I can't even see your face either.
Ah, I'm getting dripped on. Oh, can you see the fuel leaking on my arm?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that's the money shot. What else do you need? The whole truck's gonna smell like ethanol.
Nice.
And the worst part, I'm gonna have to change my gloves when I'm all done.
Oof. Brutal.
That ain't that good.
You would hope that this would be slightly more dirty, right? Than the one in front of it.
No, they're next to each other. I have two.
They're parallel.
I have two feed lines coming from the back. So one pump feeds the front of the rail, and then the other pump feeds the back of the rail. Does that make sense? So, yeah, literally they're parallel. So the problem I had, the reason why this car blew up in 2015, thanks for asking. One of the relays to either the front or rear pump would intermittently turn on and off. Speaking of which, I don't know if I ever fixed that. That's, ugh. Yeah. One of the relays to one of the pumps quit working, and it caused the engine to burn up because it could supply enough fuel for like maybe 600 horsepower, but at 750 it was going just lean enough to melt pistons. So I melted cylinder 1, and then we rebuilt it, and then melted cylinder 6 after that. So I think both pumps were intermittently having problems. Not pumps, but the electrical to the pumps. And this is the same fuel system that we had back then. That's got me doing some deep thought here about what might potentially happen. Anyway, so yeah, two pumps. One feeds the front of the rail, one feeds the back of the rail. And so each one has a filter. So yeah, they should have the same amount of debris in the filters. I did bring an extra filter element, one of these, that's made out of paper, and I think that's like I don't know the microns on it, but the paper one definitely filters more than the mesh screen one. The thing about the mesh screen is they're more resistant to E85, and you can clean them out. So I don't know, maybe that's not enough filter for what we got going on, now that I'm thinking about it.
Just terrible gibberish. Ooh.
Similar junk in there.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't looking good.
Well, this is good news for us.
What have I done here?
Definitely throw more rocks in there.
Can't get any worse, right? Alright, that's how that goes. For some reason I took them apart opposite of each other.
Did you scratch in the flow on that one?
I did.
Was it as good as your first time?
No, it was just as bad, but I decided not to do the 3D like I did on the other one, so.
You should just draw an S, the diamond S thing that we all did in high school.
Juicy.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Huh.
You didn't know what it was?
No, I didn't know what it was called.
It was a clothing brand. You gotta be old, man, to know that. Southern California living, bro. Where did they go?
So right now you're just cleaning, but the solution is bigger filters.
Not bigger filters, but like more fine particle filters. That's like, I can still see the junk on there. I think I'm gonna go in the bathroom and like wash these out with hot water. That's cheaper than carb clean, and I'm almost out. Doesn't seem to be doing it. Give them the old flush Rooney. Yeah, there's just junk in there. That is not good. So we really should probably take out the fuel lines and flush those out too. Should we take them in the sink and like hold one in? You go to the toilet over there on the other end, and we'll turn it on. All right, you ready? Sorry, sir. Can you step over that?
Yeah. So we just got done washing them out inside the truck stop, and Kelly's hit them with some brake clean to give them another little.
Be gone, moisture.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, just really need these to be clean.
Hello. You just replace them. I'm over this. But we don't have a local race shop in the back of our truck, so we'll figure it out.
These are all flowing pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely, huh?
Yeah. You see it?
Something like this.
No, that.
Mix it up. Have you seen the when they played tricks on the monkeys at the zoo?
Yeah.
The monkey's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you think? Plugged?
Plug.
Really? Now, I'm a little bit worried about the hole being in it, but there's nothing to do about it. So then I was going to take all the filters out, but then we're going to plug all the injectors by taking the filters out. And then I thought about, what if we take the brand new 1700s and put the caps on them, but I think they're different length caps. I don't want to put the new injectors in because I don't know if it's going to flood a bunch of junk from the fuel system back into the new injectors. I can't really tell if these are flowing more or less than they were by blowing through them.
Why don't we, can you blow through that one more?
Yeah, but there's a hole in it. So.
That's fine.
Okay.
As long as it flows better, right? We can't put
I would
it
like
back
to
in.
flush the rail out too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's up to you. I don't know where.
I think we're running low on spray. We got 2 Brody cans and then
Why don't we
got some in this.
do the bucket thing?
What's that?
Flush the fuel system a little bit. Like turn the fuel pump on and let it blow shit out.
I guess. I mean, it already blew it all into the ejector tips. You know what I mean? It's not like there's. The only problem is if the tank is still full of that junk and it's getting through the filters, that would be the problem. But how are we gonna know that? You know what I mean? We'll have to take the filters off at the track tomorrow.
I don't think it's getting into the. Hear me out. If it's in
Wait,
the,
how many tanks did we run through? We already ran through 2 tanks.
Yeah.
So everything should have been trapped in the filters
Yeah,
or the ejectors now.
The first filter in that pre-pump filter was disgusting. Like, how much of it isn't going to get sucked up? You
I don't know, man. These aren't good filters though. Like those mesh screens, so it's not trapping a bunch of stuff. So if there's still stuff in there, it's going to get pushed past into these injectors.
But how much fuel was in the lines for all those years? Because if it sits in the lines, it still gets dried out.
Maybe, but it was wet. When I took the filters off after 8 years, they were still wet. Like fuel
but
leaked
like,
out.
The air.
I don't
The
know.
spot where it's not wet anymore. Like,
I
you know,
don't
just listen.
I'm listening. I'm
Okay.
listening.
You ever see a tank of the 85, like one of these barrels, and it has a line on the edge, but nothing below it? All it has to have is a little pocket of air, and then right at the edge of where the fuel is like cracked. You know what I mean? Like the top layer.
Yeah.
So if it's in the lines and it's all through the lines, it's probably come out now. But I don't know. I'm not super worried about putting the other ones in or figuring out whatever to do. Can we at least size them up? The other injectors, see what they look like with the cap on.
Yeah, that's fine. Wanna grab one?
Yeah.
I need to explain something about this trip. I already got called out once by someone at the track that I am towing instead of driving. Let me explain why that is. I've been on every drift week, and there was only one other drift week that I towed the car on the trailer, which was the one in New York and Pennsylvania and West Virginia, all up and down there. There's a couple reasons I did that. Also, that was terrible. I absolutely hated that trip because we had a truck and not driving the car. So the reason behind that is we were originally intending to take the Chaser. Yeah, that's better. We were originally intending to take the Chaser, which would have allowed us to have 3 people in the car because it was me, Kelly, and Pintu. So with with the 3 of us, we were needing a car that could handle 3 people. And so when we didn't finish the Chaser in time and realized we had to take the S13, I knew that we couldn't fit all 3 of us and I wasn't gonna change our plans. So that's when we decided we would have to take the truck, and I was originally gonna have him follow behind us in the truck, which doesn't really make sense from a fuel standpoint and a logistical standpoint. It just makes way more sense to put the car on the trailer. But that takes away from the spirit of the trip, and I realized that, and that kind of made it miserable. I just wish we wouldn't have had to take the truck, but we did. Also, the other reason is because we were going to Clutch Kickers immediately after that, we were gonna have to jump in the truck with that car and drive all the way to Florida, and it worked out, and those were the reasons we did that. I didn't like it, but whatever. This trip I wasn't even gonna go on. Aaron called me and said, hey, I would like you to go. What if you take your truck and trailer and tow Naoki's car and my S14, Aaron's S14. And one of the reasons is I didn't want to take my Chaser because I didn't want to crash, but I wanted to drive hard. So I wanted to take an S13. The only S13 I have is my Pro car, which was really close to being done. And I thought if I could get the Pro car done and take it on that trip, that would, it's almost the same deal. Immediately after Drift Week, I have to go to Hot Pit to do a competition, almost just like the other Drift Week when I towed. So I want to take my S13 and use this time to prep that car to be, to be as prepared as possible, set up. I learned how to drive it, not work out all the issues like we're doing right now with the fuel system. This would have happened at Hot Pit and we would be completely screwed because we'd be working on it instead of winning the comp. So things are actually working out exactly like I had hoped, but I'm losing out on some fun on Drift Week. But either way, that's why we're towing. And when I told Aaron, look, I can only take my Pro car, I can't drive it on the street. And he's like, well, what if you take the trailer, do it this way, and tow all 3 cars, and then just come along for the journey? And I thought, that works out perfectly. But now I'm realizing that people are calling me out for not street driving. I would much rather be street driving. I would much rather be in a street car. It's way more fun to do it that way, but I've done six Drift Weeks. This is the 7th one. Every single Drift Week that there has been, I've been present. And I'm calling for a free pass on this one. The other one doesn't count. You can call me out on that one. I shouldn't have towed. It sucked. It was a bad idea. But this one, I'm just like, it was either not come at all or do it this way. So that's the explanation. Like it or don't, that's what it is. Okay, fuel pump. You got pressure?
Yeah.
I don't know, looks all right. Hopefully it doesn't catch on fire. Go ahead. Rev it up, see if it misfires. He's blasting the front of Aaron's car with exhaust. Exhaust water. Got exhaust water on your inside light. Where's the oil? I think that's it, dude. I think we got it. And we got backup injectors if we need them. This is like almost exactly the problem I had with the Chaser. Fuel system problems. I never seem to learn. Just finishing up the fuel job here. I really hope that fixes the car. I don't want to be messing with it tomorrow at the track. I just want to show up to the track and start driving. Hopefully that's how it goes down. I think we figured out the problem. All right, we're about an hour from the track. I can't believe we made it without problems as far as getting pulled over or like way stations or the California border crossing, anything like that. Like things went pretty smooth. The truck has started to sound like the transmission is slipping a little bit, which is not great. We topped it off with some fluid, which I hope is compatible, but I think this takes a special fluid. So now we may have to do a trans flush after we get there. The truck's healthy, everything like that, except for that little transmission. Like when you shift, it's kind of, and that's even with the trans is tuned and has a lock converter, and so that has me really worried. So we just gotta be easy on shifts and whatnot, but it's getting late. We want to get to the Airbnb and go to sleep. So this is the last leg of our drive. Thanks for watching, guys. Tomorrow is Horse Thief Mile. I'm super stoked on it, and I really hope this car just runs good and we have a blast, because we only got one day at Horse Thief and I want to shred in this car. I drove this car there in 2010, I think. I've been back since, but not with this car, so that'll be like a good reunion for me. So thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Antagonizing Kelly. He jumps out of the truck with the vape in his lap, and it goes bloop, into the water.
California, it's $50 to buy a $10 vape. Oh, I'm gonna have a stroke.
Now's a good time as any to quit. Is that a good time to tell him that?
Probably not.
Hey, why don't you just quit?
Why don't you just shut up? You want me to be nice?
Karate chop him.
If it makes you feel any better, I have to buy diesel now. That makes you feel better? Drop the banana down the drain.
No more! I got banana hand. You ready?
Gotta go wash my hands again.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't need gloves.
It's potassium. Just eat it. Oh, God.
Why'd you hit me with a banana?
Because I was in there and I was like, what can I hit him with that won't hurt?
It did hurt.